I read this post that said 40% of couples admit they knew their relationship was over years before they actually ended it. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's get personal. Let's get deep. Let's get deep. Don't judge me. Just listen. We listen and we don't judge. um, I was in a relationship, married and all for about 10 years. And around year, I think it was 7, that I was like, yeah, this is not for me. And when there's a combination of a bunch of different things, but what led me to stay from year 7 or 8 to whatever, to 10 years, that gap right there was my children. How many of us stay in relationship because of our children? We don't want to break up a happy home. And to admit, I wasn't as equipped with all the knowledge that I know now on how relationships are supposed to work in marriages and things like that, you know. But then I was unknowledgeable. But there were several things that was making me unhappy. But I stood because I was just like, let me do it for the kids. Let me do it for the kids. Right? I don't want them to see a broken family. But I'll tell you a story. There was a time I used to ask my kids every so often, what makes you happy? You know, and I think the last time I had asked my kids that before I divorced, I was driving home from picking up my daughter from a dance, and I said, baby, you know, what makes you happy? And at that time she was a dancer, so she was like, me dancing, Mom. And then my son was in the back. I said, Pop, what about you? What makes you happy? And at that time he was like, Legos. I was like, all right. So I went to put the music up, and then my daughter goes, Mom, you know you always ask us, but we never ask you. So I sat and I thought, and I was like, damn. And out of nowhere, mind you, no one would have known that me and my ex-husband was going through that time, because I would play it off, right? It's no one's business but ours. I would still do what I have to do as a wife, but inside I was like, oof, this is not for me. My daughter goes, I don't know where, not knowing anything. You know, if being with Daddy doesn't make you happy, don't be with him because of us. Oof. And it was crazy because it was like I was waiting for permission without waiting for permission for my children to give me that like release, like, Mom, you could let go. And I was like, huh. I still didn't have an answer for her, right? Because I didn't want to say the easiest thing, you guys make me happy, which they do, but I'm saying something for me. What's something that I could do for me? And I couldn't think of anything, right? Because I felt like everything that I was doing was to make sure that they were good, the family is good. And that held me hostage, that thought. And I was thinking heavy, 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 heavy. And then I think a few days later, I woke up and I was like, I want a divorce. Teach its own, right? If you stay because of the kids, that's your thing. But that's when I made a choice, like, me first. Me first, right? Because in order for me to be able to be a good mother, a good partner, a good business owner, a good friend, you have to pour into yourself. And I hate that. And I dislike when people say being self-care is being selfish, depending on how you utilize it. Not every day. I mean, every day I choose me, right? Because I wake up and I do something before everyone else wakes up. That's me choosing me, making sure that I start my day good. But I literally designate my self-care days. Like twice a month, I take myself out. Whether it's to get my nails done, go get a massage, take myself out to eat, go read a book, go write, whatever it is. I do something for me, but that's my time to be able to pour into me, to recharge me, to reset me, so I could come back and give you 1,000. But that's what works for me. So in that moment, I was just like, I need to start choosing me. Like, what am I teaching my kids staying in a situation that no longer serves me, that was not working for me? To stay in situations that you're unhappy? No. And I'm not saying to leave for the littlest things. We went through some things, and I won't get into details, but we went through some things. But I no longer wanted to use my kids as an excuse for staying in a situation. I want you to go where you're respected, appreciated, loved, cared for, wanted. So, yeah. I think a lot of us stay in situations out of fear. And that was another thing too. I was like, am I gonna be able to do it myself? It's like a lot of things going in my head, and I was just like, I could do it. I can do it. I will. It's gonna be a struggle. It's gonna be different. But what are you gonna do? You're gonna stay in comfort? When I chose to do the unknown, to jump. And I'm happy I did. Because although I left because of the things he did, with me being single for that period of time, I learned a lot of things that I had to work on myself too. And that's where accountability came into place. Me taking ownership of things that I did wrong as well.